Okay, hi, welcome back to another episode of Me and My Motor by Motormia. Today we have Cam here.
Morning, how you doing?
Good, good. How you doing, Cam?
Good.
Cam, where are you from?
Oakland, California. Northern
Oakland, California. Currently residing here, though, in
Levine, Phoenix, Arizona.
Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah.
Great. And Cam, tell us a bit about your car. What do we got here?
We have a 2015 C7 Z06.
Z06 Corvette.
Corvette Z06.
Looks amazing. Okay, great. So, Cam, tell us a bit about yourself.
Oh man, I'm originally from California, from the Bay Area. Grew up there for most of my life. Came to Arizona, went to school, bought a house, and I became an entrepreneur.
Okay. So, you want to tell us a bit about that? You're an entrepreneur?
Yeah, sure. So what I have with that, I have behavioral health office, a clinical office where we do treatment for people on substance abuse.
Okay.
And then another one is residential assisted living.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Mental health and behavioral health is very important.
Absolutely.
All right, great. So tell us, obviously you got a great car here, but how did you first get into cars?
I grew up with cars. Come from where I'm from, we have a lot of classic old cars, and my father and my grandfather, they taught me how to wrench.
Right?
Yeah, we grew up with it, and there was always some person in the neighborhood going around with an old classic with big motor, loud, and I wanted to have one of those growing up.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
What was your favorite car from when you were growing up in that era? That from the neighborhood that you remember?
70 Chevelle.
So, 70 Chevelle.
Older gentleman. He had a 70 Chevelle, orange 70 Chevelle with a 454 big block in it.
Oh, geez.
So back in the day, that was a lot.
So is that where you first got your inspiration for big power and like eye-catching color?
Absolutely. We come from where I'm from is like bright, big wheels, loud music, big motors. We kind of let the car speak for itself. So
yeah. Did you have a mentor kind of during that time that kind of guided you while you were kind of starting that journey?
Yeah. So part of growing up in our household was that you had no choice but to go outside and work on cars, whether it's changing a motor, swapping out a rear end, doing brakes, oil changes. So my grandfather and my dad, they had me outside wrenching, and those were my idols. I looked up to those guys, and I wanted to be a better mechanic wrencher than them.
Okay.
So
yeah. And so they just did it though as like a hobby, as a passion, though.
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
They just got into
it. Not for work, just for fun, and
for fun.
keep the car. And it was cheaper, like to work on your own car, opposed to taking it to a shop.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. So tell me, how has that passion evolved as you from being a kid or growing up in California to moving here to Arizona, starting your business? How did that passion change or grow over the years?
The passion changed. It just, I could say, I didn't want to deal with old cars anymore. It's, I've done a few of those on my own, or a few restorations on my own in my own garage, and it was an absolute nightmare, just stressful. But things are a lot easier now. So with this, I wanted to do something I could just buy it, build it, and drive it. I didn't actually have to sit years working on it.
Right, like all the things with an older car, with the wiring, or if there's rust or issues with the body, just a million things could happen with an older car, right?
And no one tells the truth when they sell you a classic car.
And the price tag probably is nice when you see one, and someone sells it to you and says, "Oh, it needs a little bit of work," and you get under it, you see it needs a lot bit of work, right?
Yes. And
they get you in with the price tag and the hopes of an easy build, and it turns up being like you said, a lot more than you thought.
A lot more than you expected. So it's like, I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah. This is a lot more. You kind of know what you need to do, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's a lot clearer path. That's not necessarily a cheaper path, but there's a lot less surprises. What was your first car, and what was the first car that you modded?
The first car I bought, I was 15 years old, and I bought a 1976 Cutlass Supreme.
Oh, nice.
Bought it from a gearhead garage / gas station from a guy that was an actual gearhead. It had a 403 in it, 400 transmission, posi traction, and it was a lot to handle at 15 years old.
Oh, yeah.
It was a lot to handle.
Okay. So. And then so you got it from a garage guy who already had done stuff to it.
Right.
How long did it take before you wanted to start adding to it?
Immediately. Pulled the seats out, got the upholstery done.
Yeah.
And put some tires on it, got the exhaust done, and I drove it like that for a while.
Okay, yeah. And so tell me that feeling, I guess, not when you first modded it, because it came with some stuff already, but when you first bought that car, you sat behind the wheel, went for a drive, right? How was that feeling?
It was absolutely phenomenal because I worked really hard
Yeah.
to get the money to pay for the car.
Hmm.
So it felt good. Like I accomplished a goal, and my parents weren't big on letting me drive their cars, and I didn't have a driver's license yet.
I was just saying, you're 15. Last I heard, you got to be 16 in California
Yeah.
to drive.
So I drove around like that for a while. Never got in
Interesting.
trouble, luckily,
Yeah.
until I got my license. Yeah.
I bet you it was a lot. I bet you had spent a lot of time looking over your shoulder around when you were driving before you got 16.
Back in the day, things were they didn't really
No,
bother you.
they didn't bother you.
They
All
didn't
right,
bother
that's
me.
good,
Yeah.
man.
And I kept it under low. I just stay out of trouble.
Just drive safe, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Wait till you're 16 to drive a little bit silly.
Yeah, that's what official insurance under mom's name,
exactly.
and
Yeah,
a legit driver's license, and
yeah.
then I started getting a little bit
That's
trouble.
great. That's
Yeah.
great. So when you moved here, you still love cars. You're into cars. I mean, what? Tell us a bit about maybe some of the cars you've owned over the years, and maybe a couple that aside from this one, obviously the Vet, but that were your favorites and why.
So I have done a couple of classics. They were actually ended up being two colorless, a 73 and a 76.
Okay.
Um, just swapping out crate motor,
Yeah.
big carburetor, nice transmission, rear end, and then I switched over to a fourth gen Camaro.
Okay.
I drove that. Those when like the L2 ones were a big thing at that point.
Yeah.
So I did L2 conversion, Pro Charger, 3600 stall, 383 gears, like
Oh, the work. Yeah.
yeah,
The whole power factor.
threw the whole bag at that car.
Yeah.
And at the time, people were tuning them, and then things got a little newer. Then the LSs came out, and people stopped working on them.
Oh, okay.
Then I switched over to Harleys, and I started riding motorcycles.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Great.
So I built a Harley in my garage.
All right.
Showstopper. It's actually a candy magenta pink.
Okay.
Won 11 trophies with it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Took it to
Wow.
Rocky Point 5 times. Took baddest bagger 5 times in a row in Rocky
Oh,
Point.
geez. Wow. Okay. Okay. So not only it's the cars, but also bikes too.
And boats.
And boats.
And boats. Yes,
Wow.
sir.
A true renaissance man of all types of vehicles.
Try to be happy. Try to find my little
That's
happy
great.
place. Different times of the year, like summertime on the boat, winter or fall in the car.
Yeah. And then the bike, it's kind of whenever you want to go for.
Not summer.
Not summer. Yeah. Well, not right now.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Wow. All right. That's great. So tell us, just it could be with your project cars, bikes, boats. It could be just in life. Like what keeps you focused, motivated? Keeps you going toward that next goal.
Accomplishing the goal, seeing it through.
Okay.
That's motivates me to see the end point of it. I never. We weren't allowed to quit. Honestly, growing up, we just had to see it through. So it was one of those things. Like I had a vision, and I wanted to see how it would look completed.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of all the stress, the nonsense, the money, I wanted to see what my completed vision would look like.
Yeah. So
every single time.
it's the journey is great, but once it's like also saying, hey, I did this, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
And seeing other people's reactions to it.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
the Harley, the pink Harley, like women and kids love that thing.
Yeah.
And men, why'd you paint it pink? Is that your girlfriend's bike? No. Because you wouldn't do it. That's why I did it. That's exactly why I did it.
Because you asked me.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
That's great, great. All right, so yeah, so you've owned some amazing, 70s, like some Cutlass, some cars like that. You had a award-winning bike. You got boats. You got this car. You're a lover of vehicles of all sorts,
Absolutely.
But specifically to the Z06. So, tell us your journey with that car. I mean, how did you decide? I want to get a Z06. And how did you decide that one's for me?
It was kind of like my business partner. He kind of was pushing it on me like, hey, you work hard, you do a lot, treat yourself to something, you deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
I kept saying, no, 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 no. And I started looking around. I was like, I knew I wanted a Corvette or a Trackhawk. But I was like, yeah, everybody has a Trackhawk. The Mopar guys, they have their own little thing. And I just wanted something different.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked around and I couldn't find any manuals. I did not want an automatic.
Mm-hmm.
And I found this one.
Okay.
And unfortunately, I had to replace the whole engine.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it was a limit for
Okay.
the dealership.
Oh, so you got a new, or you bought it?
I bought it used from a car dealership.
Oh, okay, got it.
It went to 4 different shops. They told me nothing was wrong with the car, but I knew something was wrong with the car.
Okay.
And long story short, it has a new motor in it.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess the good part about that, there's a new motor, right?
It wasn't in the budget.
Yeah, yeah.
It was not in the budget.
Got it. That's why you were saying. That's why when I asked you if it's less surprises with a newer car, you kind of pause for a second.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. You never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, you never know. Okay, great, great.